Being in a state of being mindful allows you to make better choices for yourself, right? Number 4, enjoy your family time on your terms, right? So let's say you don't know how to say no about going to an event that a family member is hosting, but it's very triggering. Give yourself a time limit, right? If the event starts at 5 and it tends to go to 11, 12. Give yourself an hour, 2 hours, and let them know in advance, like, "Hey, like, I only could stay for 2 hours," right? Try to give yourself an out. Not that you have to. You don't owe anybody a reason why you can't do something, but I do understand sometimes for people, they're not used to saying no and advocating for themselves, and so you may wanna just go back home and unwind and decompress from all of the activities, and that's okay. That's something you gotta say to yourself, to say to your mind, "It's okay if I don't wanna do this. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I feel nauseous after, my back hurts after, I tend to get migraines after. Do I wanna keep the peace outside because I don't want them to create any, like, drama or nonsense about me not going? Or do I wanna keep the peace inside?" When you're trying to keep the peace outside and you're struggling inside, you're allowing chaos to be created in you, and it's just not fair. And I think the more we start to think about it that way, the better it is for us when we are making the choices that we need to make. Um, Number 5, respect differences, like being mindful that everybody is gonna think differently about something, and that's okay. Number 6, honor your routines. Around the holidays, we tend to stop our routines, right? So it's really important that we are making sure that we're honoring the things that we need to do for ourselves, the self-care, our water intake, our sleep intake, making sure we're moving our body. Those 3 things that I just mentioned, sleep, water, and what you're putting in your body are so important to your mental status. And unfortunately, around this time of year, maybe you've started, maybe you want to start, but people don't really think that deeply about it. I really want you to start thinking deeply about honoring your routines and the things that you need to do for yourself. Ground yourself, and then everything else comes after. When it comes to my life, and I wear so many hats, taking care of myself is a priority because if I don't take care of myself, if I'm not grounded, nothing else works out the way it needs to work out. Nothing else matters, right? And I'll do an episode on that about like the way that I create self care and my routines for myself. I think it would be helpful for people to hear. It doesn't just all come together, it's a very intentional process that I make for myself. Um, and then I want you to think about honoring the losses, right? The holidays are going to bring up some hard moments for people that may have experienced a lot of losses over the years. And it's okay, you're human, right? So I do want you to think about how can I honor the loss, right? I'm feeling these things because I miss this person, I miss that person, and that's okay, right? A lot of times, especially in the Black community, we're not used to being vulnerable, right? We look at vulnerability as something that's a weakness. We look at the moments that we're crying, if we're not pleading, we are challenging ourselves and say, like, what's wrong with you? Why are you feeling this way? You have everything you need in front of you. You can have everything you need and still feel sad. It's really okay. And I think the more that we're patient with ourselves and we are not beating ourselves up for how we're feeling, I feel like we will be different about the way that we're managing it. If we're not honoring it, we're self-medicating and we don't realize that's what's happening. If we're not honoring our feelings and our emotions, we're not doing the things that we need to do because we're so clogged up with things that need to be released from us. And as we get older, tend to show up in a medical way. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this makes sense. If I said anything that resonates for you, I always tell people understand you have the power to create change in your life, right? But you have to have faith in yourself. Also, as you're making changes, these things that I'm talking about, say to your mind, it's okay if I don't want to do this. I don't like the way it makes me feel. I feel nauseous after, my back hurts after, I tend to get migraines after. Do I want to keep the peace outside because I don't want them to create any like drama or nonsense about me not going? Or do I want to keep the peace inside? When you're trying to keep the peace outside and you're struggling inside, you're allowing chaos to be created in you, and it's just not fair. And I think the more we start to think about it that way, the better it is for us when we are making the choices that we need to make.